Ariel. He's a reigning Olympic 200-meter champion. Andre is not going to lay down, dude. That's what I know, right? If I know this about the kid, he's not going to lay down.
Paris Tonight is brought to you by Smartwater.
Another night, another stadium. And tonight we come to you from a very special stadium. It's Stade de France. Not only is this the biggest stadium in all of France, it's also the biggest stadium in all of Europe for all things athletics, and that is exactly why we're here this evening. Tonight, the marquee event, the men's 100 meters. This is incredible stuff. And truth be told, I've never actually been to an athletics event live and in person. I've never seen this with my own two eyes. And what an event to start with. And after speaking to Donovan Bailey yesterday about all this, I'm even more excited. This is gonna be great. There's a buzz in the air. The place is jam-packed. Cannot wait to get in there. But before we get to all of that, let me tell you what else is going on today's program. We've got a chat with Damian Warner. We had an opportunity to speak to him. Remember, 24 hours ago, he was in this stadium, and unfortunately, things didn't go his way. The defending gold medalist in decathlon, one of the favorites going into this event, didn't work out for him. He was very honest, he was very forthright. You're gonna wanna watch this interview. In addition to that, we speak to Wyatt Sanford, who won Canada's first medal in boxing in 28 years. The pride of Nova Scotia stopped by. We'll have that interview for you as well. But for now, let's talk all things athletics, my friends. Can't wait to get in there. Let's get this party started. Wow, wow, wow. That was absolutely amazing. What a thrilling event to watch live. That was incredible stuff, and our streak of witnessing history continues. How about Ethan Katzberg? First Canadian to ever win a gold in hammer throw, and the first Canadian to win a medal of any kind in that particular event in 100 years, and we just witnessed it. That was unbelievable stuff. And then after that, Noah Lyles talks so much. The villain goes out there and wins gold. USA's first gold medal in the men's 100 meters since 2004. There were lights, there was all kinds of things going on. I felt like I was at a Taylor Swift concert / just like a crazy field day with over there there's high jump, and over there there's hammer throw, and over there there's 800 meters, and over there there's 100 meters. Like, I didn't know where to turn. If you've never been to an athletics event, trust me, you'll want to go check this out. That was spectacular. I think I'm all in. I think I love this. I think I want to cover this for a living. I don't really know everything about it just yet. Let's go talk to someone who actually has lived and breathed this event, who knows a thing or two about the men's 100 meter. My old friend, Donovan Bailey. Let's go talk to him right now. Well, how lucky am I? Most people, they watch a thrilling event like that, they text their friends, they talk to their partner, whatever. I get to talk about it with Donovan Bailey, of all people. I'm still buzzing out here, Donovan. That was so thrilling. I loved every second about it. And now let me ask you about what we just witnessed. Noah Lyles walked the walk. He talked the talk. Your initial reaction to what he just did in there?
Dude, I was surprised. Absolutely was surprised. I mean, big, huge respect to Noah Lyles for executing his own race, staying in his pocket, and doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and in winning the Olympics. I mean, and also getting a personal best. When you look at the differences in experience, I had Kishane Thompson winning. I had him winning. I actually had him winning and running, 9.6 high, 9.7 low. For me, he's still the fastest guy there, but he's not the Olympic champion. He's 22, he's got a ways to go, but huge congratulations to Noah Lyles. And this is probably by far one of the most technical races that you've ever seen, just because of the differences in all the athletes that crossed the line.
Can we expand on that? Like, when you say technical, what do you mean by that? Because I'm just sitting there watching it and I see, the dude's running, but you obviously have a different perspective. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, there are three parts to the 100 meters. Someone like Kishane, who is obviously heads and shoulders up faster than the athletes that he's competing against, his speed is way better for the first 30, right? And so when he gets the top speed, he has to learn how to relax and let the race come to him. Now, he did not allow the race to come to him, right? Noah Lyles is fantastic speed endurance guy. Obviously, he's good enough. He's a power speed guy, but he's a speed endurance guy. He knows when he gets the threshold of his speed, he can keep it. And that's what allowed him to it looked like he came from behind, but all he did was kind of maintain his threshold so he could win at the line.
Just curious, no one's indifferent about Noah Lyles. Some love him, some don't like him. Where do you lie?
Dude, I mean, listen, he's the fastest man in the world. He's a world champion, and he's now the Olympic champion. He's an ambassador for my sport, which for me, is stands above everything else. But Noah Lyles is fantastic, personality-wise, and clearly what he's doing on the track.
I know this may be a tough question to answer, but what do you think Thompson's feeling right now? Most, including yourself, thought he was the favorite, fastest man in the world heading into this race. And, I mean, it's like a photo finish, as close as it gets.
It's about perfection. So you spend your entire existence, as long as you're competing, thinking about the perfect race. It's the perfect start. It's the perfect acceleration phase. It's the perfect float, which is in the middle. And it's the perfect deceleration phase. So ultimately, I'm very certain for Kishane, he probably shouldn't be upset at anything that happened, because ultimately he can just go back and look at where he made a mistake. This is not boxing where someone can't come in and gives you an uppercut, or slip a right hand or whatever. This is a mistake that he made, and ultimately I know his coach, I know the group that they're from, and I know that they're gonna fix it. And that's really all it is. I mean, let's put it this way. If he had ran the same race that he ran in the semifinals and the finals, he'd have ran, 970.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see a rematch. Perhaps they could book it at the Rogers Center, maybe around this time next year. I'm just kidding. I'm over it. By the way, before I let you go, Donovan, I'm moving on, I promise. I got a lot of hate for that, by the way, but I still have your back from now until the end of time.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. Oh, you're stirring it up. But don't worry, Donovan. I got your back. You're my guy.
I love my brother.
Before I let you go, a quick word on Andre DeGrasse. Didn't qualify for the final. I got the sense yesterday that, from talking to you, you probably were expecting some kind of result like this. What did you see from him tonight?
Well, no, I mean, again, we're talking about power distribution and we talk about speed and endurance. Andre has been consistent all year. Thank God he's not injured. But he was just in tough. I mean, at the end of the day, 993 was the last place guy to get into the finals. Ariel, he's a reigning Olympic 200-meter champion. He's beaten Bednarik and he's beaten Noah Lyles. So Andre's not going to lay down, dude. That's what I know, right? If I know this about the kid, he's not going to lay down. So, I mean, yes, the 100 meter is gone. Put that under the rug. Who cares? Because he knows he's got the deuce coming up, and he knows he can lay it down when it happens.
Can't wait to see how that unfolds. Donovan, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it as always. Now we're going to talk to Devin Heroux about what Ethan Katzberg did. History for Canada, their very first gold medal in the hammer throw event. And so here he is, the aforementioned Devin Heroux. He just came out of the stadium. He's buzzing as well. What a scene out there, Devin.
Well, and, I just got a big hug from Dylan Armstrong, the coach, and Ethan Katzberg. They're sweaty. They apologized.
You smell fantastic.
Well, that's a smell of victory right there.
That is.
A golden night here. They're beaming, right? They're tense gentlemen. Dylan Armstrong's probably the tensest guy you're ever going to meet. He was probably more stressed than Ethan was here tonight, but now massive relief. They put everything in to this moment right here, right now, and then they came out of here, almost broke the Olympic record on the first throw.
Unbelievable. And I said just a few minutes ago on our program, I want to correct myself, Canada's first medal in this particular event in 100 years. It's actually 112 years, and obviously the first gold. I mean, mind-blowing stuff. What did he say to you? What was the vibe when he spoke to him?
Right. He's 22 years old. He was the youngest world champion last year in Budapest. He's the youngest Olympic champion ever. I asked both of them if they could have ever imagined that it would happen this fast, because this is kind of an old man sport, that old man strength.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old and he's a phenom. Dylan Armstrong spent about 5 years trying to find the perfect hammer thrower, and he said, I found it in Ethan Katzberg. He was a lanky basketball player in Nanaimo. He convinced him to come to Kamloops. It was a sales pitch, the best investment Dylan Armstrong has ever made. And they have been through it together for about 6 years. I was with them in Portugal. They were crammed in a little European car going to practice every day, the two biggest men you'll ever meet.
Amazing.
And they're brothers in arms. And when they celebrated here tonight, it was extraordinary because they have sacrificed everything and they peaked right in this moment when they needed it the most. I mean, it was over. The 5 rounds, Ariel, were a celebration. It felt like
Yes.
a hammer time party here tonight.
Amazing, and I wish you were wearing your hammer pants. You noted that earlier. By the way, I feel like you've been everywhere in the world. Have you been to Nanaimo? I've never heard of
I
Nanaimo
have been,
prior to
yes,
this.
I
What's it
have
like?
been to Nanaimo. It's a wonderful community that rallies around its sporting heroes. And I asked Ethan about that. I said, from Nanaimo, BC to the top of the podium in Paris, he said he always wanted to use the sport to have a big world, to travel the world, to see the world, to win an Olympic gold. But he pointed out it was the people who believed in me back in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And then, of course, he made his way to Kamloops, who always believed in him, supported him. He talked about grassroots support, what that means to the youth of the country. So he's such a thoughtful, composed old soul. The first song on his playlist, when I watched him at practice in Portugal, was Neil Young's Heart of Gold.
That's
Tonight,
an old soul. Oh, wow.
He's got the gold.
Oh, beautiful. You're so good at this, by the way. You're so good. By the way, a quick word on Cameron Rogers. She might do it as well on
Ariel,
Tuesday.
we're a hammer throwing nation.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I'm posting on X, and people are going, Devin, what are the rules to hammer throw? Cameron Rogers is poised to win gold. So all of a sudden, we're winning field events, and not only are we winning, we're dominating. Cameron Rogers, she was spectacular. She's into the final. She's so ready. She's a lovely person. She's been practicing her French, and she'll probably have to learn the word gold in French, because I'll be asking her about that on Tuesday night here at Stade de France.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for the time. As always, Ethan Katzberg, by the way, becomes the first male Canadian of these games to win gold. Congratulations to him. Back in 2021, of course, Damian Warner won gold in decathlon. It did not go his way yesterday at this very stadium. We had a chance to talk to him. A riveting chat, and I can't thank him enough for the time. I'm sure he was hurting inside, but he was very open and forthright. Here's that conversation.
Outshine Gold, presented by Lululemon.
Damian, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. Sometimes in life we say, how are you to people as a form of hello. I don't want to ask you that as a just sort of passing phrase. On a personal level, 24 hours after what transpired yesterday, how are you doing?
As I sit here today, I'm okay. I'm fine. I've had some time to kind of process what happened yesterday. I think yesterday I was a little bit emotional. There was a lot of thoughts going through my head, and in situations like that, it's always very tough, because I'm one athlete that's competing, but there's so many people behind me that support me, and it's very hard not to feel like you let them down, because they've given up so much time and energy to support me, and I want to go out there and I want to put my best foot forward, and unfortunately yesterday wasn't my day.
So obviously you've had a little bit of time to digest. I know it's been 24 hours, but when you do look back on yesterday, what went wrong ultimately, especially in the pole vault?
Whew. Yeah, my mind's been just kind of like racing through all these different scenarios. Like, I should have did this, I should have went to a smaller pole, I should have moved my mark in. But the truth is, at the end of the day, I just didn't make the adjustments that I needed at the time, and I had to live with the results. But I'm proud with how I competed up until that point. My first day wasn't necessarily my strongest, but I kept myself in a position to fight for a medal. And then going out there in the hurdles, I did what I needed to do. Discus, I threw really, really well. And then unfortunately, pole vault is my nemesis once again, and kind of ended my competition. So I'll be sad for that, but there's a lot to learn from this competition.
Going back to the end of the first day, as you were going to bed that night, as you left the stadium and started to think about day two, how were you feeling? How was your confidence?
My confidence was really high. I knew going to this competition that it wasn't going to be easy. I spoke with my sports psychologist before the competition even started, and I said, like, this is going to be a dogfight from the start to the finish. There's going to be no one-punch knockouts in this decathlon, and we planned for this, and I just needed to be in the hunt after the first day. Some people came out and put some really good performances together. Some of the top guys didn't, but there was probably 4 or 5 of us that were right where we needed to be in the hunt, and then yeah, unfortunately, the second day didn't quite work out the way that we wanted to, but that's the decathlon for you.
You mentioned pole vault being your nemesis again. I believe in your second attempt, there was an incident where it seemed like a piece of a previous competitor's vault was in the vault box, and that seemed to have thrown you off a little bit. And I'm wondering how much it did throw you off for the subsequent attempts.
I did my warm-ups, and my warm-ups were fairly solid. But then I kind of sat around waiting for my first attempt for probably 45, 50 minutes. And in that time, the wind adjusted quite a bit. So there was a much stronger headwind. And then I went for my first attempt and my pole just didn't go to vertical and I wasn't able to get over the bar. So I was just like, okay, I'll just run a little bit faster, push a little bit harder. And then I did so, and then it hit some other decathlete's plug was left in the box. Hit that, it shot out, and then I just didn't clear my jump, and I was just like, what's going on? And another athlete was there to help me and be like, hey, no, this shot out, and they gave me another attempt. But it was kind of in my mind now, like, do I go down a pole? Do I just try to do the same thing? I tried to do the same thing, but it didn't work, and then I was left with one attempt, and unfortunately that didn't work. So I think ultimately there was just like so many different variables that just weren't in it for me that day, and it sucks.
When reality sunk in, you put your hands on your head. Could you describe what you're feeling in that moment?
That was like an interesting situation, just because there wasn't really many like emotions at that time. It was, my mind was like kind of blank. Like, that doesn't happen I've been doing the sport for 13, 14 years, and this is only the second time that's happened to me, and never in my wildest dreams could I imagine that would happen at the Olympic Games. We've been working so hard all year on that event specifically, and it's been going really well. So I just never had that in the cards, and yeah, like I said before, this is something that I'm gonna have to live with for a while. But this is the sport. This is why when you get to stand on top of the podium, it's so special, because you know how many different things can go wrong. And if anything, it makes me appreciate 2021 even more, just because I know how difficult it is. But this decathlon was right there for the taking, and unfortunately I wasn't able to follow through.
Why did you choose to withdraw?
For me, I chose to withdraw just because that's the reality of the sport, in my opinion. Like, you go and you do the event, and it doesn't go well and you drop out. Sometimes you can go into these competitions and you could fight all the way to the finish, and then it's all these what ifs, like, if I just cleared my 450 or my opening height, then I would have been a gold medalist or a silver medalist. And in my mind, and it may not make sense to anybody else, but that's unfair to do for myself. It's unfair to do for all the other athletes to be like, oh, you only got this medal because somebody else messed up. No, they got that medal because they competed really well on the 2 days, and I didn't do my job. And I have to sit in that pain that it was to not be able to continue, and that just shows me that if I want to finish a decathlon and I want to be able to be proud of that performance, then I need to be better. I need to go to the practice every single day and make sure that doesn't happen again. So for me, it's just kind of a personal thing where it's just like, I want to feel that pain. It's important to be consistent, and it's important to go out there and do my job. And yesterday I didn't do my job.
Last one, you said you started in 2012. It's been quite the run for you. You won in 2021. You were the oldest in the field. Would you like to come back in 2028?
We'll have to see. 2028 is a long way away. For me, I'm just going to take it year by year. I know for certain that I want to do the World Championships next year in Tokyo. And then after that, we'll just have to take it year by year. I was lucky enough to meet my idol in 2016, Vince Carter. And he was still playing at an older age. And I asked him, how long are you going to play? And he told me, until I stop loving the game. And I still love the decathlon. I still feel like I have so much to improve on in the sport, clearly. And I'm going to keep going until that love kind of dissipates. And right now it's still stronger than ever, and I feel like I still have a lot to improve. So I'll be back next year, and then we'll just go year by year from there.
Well, I wish you the best. You're a class act, and I know you want to get home to your son Theo and see your partner as well. And I think you're expecting another child as well very soon, right? In the next few weeks.
Yes.
So you have a lot to be excited about, a lot to be thankful for. You've made Canada very proud, and we really appreciate you sitting down after a tough day, but you're handling it so well. So much respect to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I've been looking forward to this chat all day long. As some of you may know, the sweet science, very near and dear to my heart. And so I was watching the story of Wyatt Sanford very closely, and he made Canada oh so proud. He delivers our first medal in boxing in 28 years. Yes, 1996 was the last time Team Canada won a medal of any kind in boxing. Today, he won bronze in the 63.5 kilogram weight class, a valiant effort, and we are so lucky to be joined by him now. First off, congratulations on a phenomenal run in this tournament.
Thank you. It was a great tournament to be a part of.
And so earlier today you fought, and it was a close one. Now that you've had a little bit of time to let it settle in, how do you feel about the split decision loss?
Oh, I'm okay with it. I'm happy with my performance, and that's the only thing that I can control, is how I perform in the ring. I gave it 100%, and I left nothing. There was nothing I didn't leave in the ring, so I'm happy with the way I performed.
When the fight was over, did you think there was a chance you'd get the nod?
After the second round, we know the scores after each round, so I knew after that last round I had lost the fight. But once again, I was just super happy with the performance that I gave. I gave it 100%. It was a back and forth war between me and him.
It was a great fight.
And I hope he wins gold.
You're pulling for him.
I'd love to see him win gold. It's a nice feeling when you know you lost to the guy that wins.
Sure, of course. This tournament was a great run for you, and obviously, like I said, history, right? First time since 1996 Canada gets a medal. Were you aware of that going into this tournament, that it had been that long?
I knew every step along the way, every interview, there's like, hey, it's been a long time since we got a medal. But that's just in the background noise. We focus on each fight, each performance, and we were lucky enough to make it into the medal rounds and bring one home.
I saw some footage of back home in Nova Scotia. I believe Kennetcook, Nova Scotia. What a scene that is, of all the people outside on the big screen. I'm sure you've seen some of these images as well. What does it feel like when you see everyone back home from your town supporting you?
I always knew the support was there, and I always know that the community comes together for anybody who works hard and is pushing for something. So for me, I just can't wait to get back and actually be a part of that little community at the ball field and celebrate with everyone.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and I can't imagine how it all feels. And so these are your second Olympic Games. You get a medal in this one. Do you think you're going to try, and I know boxing's in a bit of a weird spot right now for 2028, but would you like to come back if it's around for 2028, or do you have other plans, perhaps going pro?
Right now, I just want to get home with the community, with my friends, family, celebrate for a little bit, and then after a couple of months or a little bit of time off, we're going to see what's the next step.
I would imagine a dream come true for you, right? To be a medalist in the Olympics?
This has been a lifetime goal and a lifetime dream, and I'm just so happy that we were able to pull it off, and the hard work paid off.
Yes, amazing. Well, congratulations. Thrilling stuff to watch. We were all pulling for you, and so happy that you're able to go home with a medal.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, it is time to head home, but before we go, a quick look at the medal table. Canada now with 17 medals total. That is good enough for 11th place. Let's see what tomorrow brings, and of course, the streak continues, at least one medal a day, so that is very good stuff. All right, now time for everyone's favorite segment of the night. It is time for my Paris Tonight podium, my 3 favorite moments of the day. I want to start with my bronze medal moment, and I want to give it to Novak Djokovic. Yeah, he's gotten a bronze medal in the Olympics before, but the one accolade that has always eluded him, arguably one of the greatest ever, was gold. He's won every major multiple times. He's done it all. He has beaten them all, but he never won gold. Earlier today, he finally got his gold medal. At 37, he becomes the oldest singles winner in tennis Olympic history. He gets that gold in perhaps his final Olympic Games. You see the emotion. You see how happy he was. He knew this was probably his last chance. On the same court, by the way, where he hurt his knee just a few weeks ago. A beautiful moment for one of the greatest ever. Congratulations to him for finally getting that gold medal. Amazing stuff. Now, as far as my silver medal is concerned, I'm going to go back in here, and just the experience of being inside this massive stadium, like I said at the top of the show, the biggest in France and the biggest in Europe for athletics. And I was just blown away by the size of it all, and I was blown away by how the whole event kind of goes down, especially right before the men's 100 meters. Like, it becomes a party, and then everyone's dancing, and the walkouts are kind of like pro wrestling. I loved all the pageantry and the showmanship, but then everyone becomes very quiet, and you can hear a pin drop. It's unbelievable. And then you hear the gun, and then they go, and everyone goes crazy. And in this particular race, it was wild because we didn't know who won. We had to wait a few seconds, and then they put it up there, and you see Noah Lyles. Amazing theater. If you ever have an opportunity to come see one of these, do yourself a favor. I'm kind of blown away. I'm still sort of on cloud 9 because of everything that was going on. Well done. What a great experience. Now, as far as my gold medal moment, I'm going back to Damian Warner. And yes, he didn't get a medal. And yes, he's probably heartbroken still. Who could blame him? He probably just wants to go home to his partner, to his son Theo, and just be alone. And I could not blame him. But there he was earlier today, doing all the media, all the rounds, press conference, sitting with us, sitting with others as well, handling the heartbreak with class and grace, answering all the questions, not making excuses. I was so impressed with him, and I just want to tip my cap to him. That is not an easy thing to do. We take that for granted. You click a video, you watch it, oh yeah, no big deal. That man has been preparing for this moment for 3 years. There was so much pressure on him. He was the gold medal favorite, and it didn't work out. And so he could have just said, peace, I'm out of here. He did not do that. Much respect, Damian Warner. I look forward to seeing him continue his career. And even if he doesn't win another one, you got a fan in me for life. Now, finally, before we go, speaking of interviews, my one thing to watch for tomorrow, I'm going to be cheeky here. I'm gonna say our show, and I'm going to say that we're talking to Summer McIntosh tomorrow. Have you heard of Summer McIntosh? 3 gold medals. She made history at these games. Yeah, first time I get to talk to her. I'm very excited. That interview is going to air on tomorrow's edition of Paris Tonight. So, you know, every show we kind of tell you something to watch. There's a lot of games, and it's all going to be great. But could we, can we give ourselves the old Barry H., the old pat on the back? Summer McIntosh tomorrow on Paris Tonight. Be right here to watch it. It's going to be great. I can't wait. For now, though, it's time to go. They're kicking us out of here. We got to go home. Bonne nuit from Paris.
Paris Tonight is brought to you by Smartwater.